All right, I want to talk very briefly about something that I call inverting the hierarchy. I've written about this before on Substack, and I think I've mentioned it on YouTube or on Facebook, some other places. But, if you were to consider this as a representation of you, and think about people that you've studied with, people that you want to study with, whatever you have done in the past, and as a way of thinking differently, imagine a hierarchy with you above those other people. Not above them as people, but think about skills that you have, knowledge that you have, that people that you studied with don't have. Or think about resources that you have access to. If you were to think about people, there's somebody out there like Milton Erickson, Ida Rolf, Moshe Feldenkrais. There's so many. Virginia Satir, your yogis, or yoga people, scientists. They've passed away. And so it could be that you have access to their material somewhere, you have access to similar skills, but they never had access to the internet. They never had access to recording technologies, podcasting, YouTubing. They don't have your local knowledge that you have in whatever culture that you live in. And I encourage you to actually do this. Do this with, write down on a sheet of paper, and to put anything and everything, even if it doesn't seem relevant at first, to kind of invert the hierarchy. Put yourself at the top of the hierarchy as a way of moving forward, as a way of thinking creatively about some of the things that you do and do well, some of the things that you have access to. And you can do this in many contexts. You can do it in your professional contexts, other people, businesses that you work with. You can do it in your family. There's a very interesting sort of overlap, in my view anyway, between, say, marketing and spirituality, where like in the marketing world, they will say, have you ever heard of a blue ocean strategy, where you have a business that you define so that there's no competition, so that you're not competing with anyone. And of course, many spiritual traditions will say, drop all comparisons. You are unique. Now, it's a bit paradoxical, because here I'm actually asking you to create a comparison. Okay, so we need to talk about that. But, where can you go? What can you do? What can you say? What can you teach that gives you the most amount of freedom and the least amount of competition? And this will also help you reach the right people, right? Because if you have some unique skill and other people don't have that unique skill, or if you have some unique idea, if there's something unique about your personality, then you will resonate with a certain group of people. And if you talk about those things, if you put them out there, then you actually have a chance to create that resonance. Which is why you often hear me say, it's important to speak publicly. It's important to talk about yourself and talk about the uniqueness of you, so that you can have a chance to actually reach people for being who you are. Okay, and who you are will change over time, right? How people think of you. Okay, now we can go very deep and we can do this in various kind of ways. There's other exercises that I have, but I wanted to put this out there. So invert the hierarchy, get a piece of paper, and think about what are some unique things about you in relation to people in your field, in relationship to people that you've studied with. What do you have that's unique? And I guarantee you have quite a few things. They're not always obvious immediately. Sometimes you have to work on them, but start doing that process. Okay.